What we learned yesterday is how to factor when your first term has a leading coefficient that isn't 1. And what we learned yesterday is that everything is the same except this final step right here. When you take your two factors that multiply to give you AC but add up to give you B, you have to put it over A, and A isn't going to be 1 anymore. So we put it over 3, and we put this one over 3. But if it can be simplified, then you must simplify it. So 15 thirds simplifies to 5 over 1. And then you put them in your parentheses. All right, so let's go do some examples. The first one. Now, the first thing you're going to ask yourself is, before I start the X method, can I factor anything out that they have in common? No, I can't, so then I go on to the X method. Make sense? If they're all even numbers, then you can always factor out a 2. So just look for stuff like that. All right, so A times C, 2 times 3 is 6, and B is 7. So I'm looking for factors of 6 that would add up to equal 7. Well, 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 plus 1 equals 7. So I have 6 over A. What is A? And I have 1 over A, which is 2. This one is in its simplest term, so I'm going to circle it because I'm not going to do anything else to it. But this one can be simplified by dividing the top and bottom by 2, which is 3 over 1. Now that I have my numbers, I put them in parentheses by doing bottoms up, meaning the first number will go first. So that's 1x plus 3 times 2x plus 1. And then I check my work by doing FOIL and making sure it gives me that problem. All right, let's look at the next one. Again, the first thing you ask yourself, is there anything I can factor out before I start the X method? No, they don't have anything in common, so I move on. 7 times 2 is 14, and the B is negative 15. So I'm looking for numbers that will multiply together to give me positive 14, but add together to give me a negative. That means I need a negative times a negative. I know that negative 1 times negative 14 is positive 14. And if I add those together, I do get negative 15. So I have negative 1 over A. Well, what is A? 7. Is that in its simplest form? Yes, so that one's good. Then I have a negative 14 over A, which is 7. Is that in its simplest form? No, I can divide the top and bottom both by 7, and I am left with negative 2 over 1. So I do bottoms up, meaning this number goes first and gets the x. So I have 7x minus 1 times 1x minus 2. All right, I want y'all to try number 3 on your own, and that middle term is an 11. Could anything be factored out in the beginning? No. Okay, check your answer with mine. How did we do? Good? All right, we'll do one more together, and then I'm going to give you your assignment. All right, on this one, you're looking for two numbers that multiple. First of all, can anything be factored out first? No. So I'm looking for 4 times 2 is 8, and b is -9. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply together to give me positive 8, but add up to give me -9. Well, if I'm needing them to add up to -9, I'm going to have negatives involved. So a negative times a negative is a positive. So -8 times -1 will give me positive 8. And -8 plus -1 will give me -9. This one is good. This one is not.